Hi, my name is Bob Pauley. I'm the owner of Signature Jewelry Packaging. We market a line of products called Pouches USA, and these are pouches handcrafted in our factory in Chicago from the finest fabrics found around the world. We offer them in more styles and more colors and more sizes than any other manufacturer in the industry. And putting together what we call a signature pouch program, your style, your color, your brand can be a daunting experience. One way to build one of these programs is to call me and spend a half an hour on the telephone discussing all of the different options that are available to you. The other way is to find this information on our website. And, frankly, that can be tough to decipher. So I made a New Year's resolution to put together a series of how-to videos that you can go through and, figure out exactly how you want your pouch program to look. And it's Halloween. I know I got a late start, but today I'm going to put together a video on one of the most important elements of pouch building, and that is how to brand your pouch, how to put your name, how to put your logo on a pouch in a way that reflects your business and your style. So without further ado, let's dig into it. First, at Pouches USA, we offer you 4 ways to put a logo on a pouch. The first is the old traditional standby that everybody in the world uses. That's called hot stamping. The second way is debossing, where we put a brand, like you'd brand a head of cattle, onto your pouch without any color. The third way is to silkscreen, where we apply inks to the pouches to put your logo on. And the last way is to heat transfer, which is taking a logo that's printed onto a piece of acetate and adhering it to your pouch via heat. There's pros and cons to each one of these methods. Each of them cost a different amount. And today in this video, my goal is to provide you with enough information to find the best way to brand your pouch. So without further ado, let's talk about hot stamping. First, you're going to send me your logo. And once I get your logo, I send your logo to an engraver, and our engraver makes an engraving plate for you that we use for the hot stamping process. This plate is put into a hot stamping machine and heated up to between 300 and 500 degrees. And with a foil, in this case, this is a gold foil, with a foil that's placed over your pouch, the heated plate comes down, is forced onto the pouch fabric with pressure, and with that pressure and heat, the color is released from the foil and put onto your pouch. Again, it's probably the most popular way to put a logo on a pouch. And here's what one of those looks like. Clean, crisp, shiny. They come in about 12 different colors, and they look great. The problem with hot stamping is that at some point in time, that hot stamping is going to begin to flake. It's going to ship from here looking perfect. It's going to arrive at your place looking perfect. After you load it, it's going to look perfect. When you send it to your customer, it's going to look perfect. However, when they get it home, when they put it in their drawer, when they rub things on it, when they take it out and unload and load it a half dozen times, that logo begins to flake. For many jewelers, that isn't an issue. For some jewelers, it is an issue, because this pouch is a reflection of your business. This pouch is indicative of the quality and value perception of your jewel. And the last thing you want is a pouch sitting in your client's drawer with half of Joe's Jewelers rubbed off. That's the downside to hot stamping. Again, it's really popular, so the whole flaking issue isn't important to a lot of people, but it needs to be raised here because it is an issue. Hot stamping is a relatively affordable way to put a logo on a pouch. In quantities under 1,000, it costs $0.25 a bag to put your logo on a pouch via hot stamping. It's method number one. Method number two is called debossing. Debossing is where we use the same plate without the colored foil. So what we essentially do is brand your pouch, much like a head of cattle would get branded on a farm. It's done through heat, it's done through pressure. And what the end product is something that looks like this. See if I can get that focused better for you. There you go. That's a debossed pouch, and as you can see, the logo is pretty prominent. The nice thing about this way of printing is that this is permanent. This isn't going to rub. It's not going to go anywhere. The limiting factor with debossing is that on a fabric with a really deep pile like sill suede, it's got a deep pile to it, a debossed logo tends to get lost in the fibers of the fabric. And the other issue is on either really light colors or really dark colors, there's no shadowing, so sometimes debossed logos are really hard to see. And you know, I'm all for artistic triumphs, but I like commercial triumphs also. I like logos to be read. When a woman stands up and views her jewelry in her top dresser drawer, she should be able to read your logo. You should be able to get a free advertising impression every time she looks at your pouch. And with some colors and some fabrics, with debossing, that doesn't happen. It just turns out that this is a mid-tone fabric with a really bold logo, and the debossed logo is pretty readable and pretty prominent. So this is one that I would call a success. It's your second type. Your third type of branding a pouch is silk screening. And silk screening is done with three components. Let me get the first. The first is a silk screen. You send us your logo, we put it into Illustrator, we print out your logo onto a clear acetate sheet, and then we burn a silk screen for you. You probably can't see it, but there's a logo on there somewhere. We then take a tub of ink. There's about 40 or 50 colors of ink that we have here. Here's a tub. This is silk screening ink. Or you could order a custom ink in your Pantone color. And then with a squeegee and with a silk screen, we apply this ink through the screen onto your pouch, and you get something that looks like this. Neat, clean, precise. The ink is cured with heat. After the piece of fabric is silk screened, it goes through an oven and heat cures this. This logo is permanent. The logo is going to go nowhere. It's going to look great when, you know, it arrives to you. It's going to look great after your client uses it 15, 20, 150 times. Silk screening has a different look than hot stamping, where hot stamping tends to be, you know, really bright, shiny, and vibrant. Silk screening inks are a little bit more subdued, so there is a different look. It happens to be my favorite way to brand. A lot of people have a color, like let's say your company color is olive, and on your website all of your banners are in olive, and you want your pouch to reflect that olive theme. Chances are we're not going to find a color of olive fabric that's going to match your banner. However, we can custom blend an ink to match your banner color so that the logo we put on is in your color. So there's a lot of flexibility with silk screening. I love it. I think it's a great way to go, and I encourage people to use it. That's method number 3. Oh, and it's more expensive than hot stamping and debossing. Hot stamping and debossing cost $0.25 each. Silk screening costs 50 cents each. Now the fourth and last way. There are people who have intricate logos. They have crests. They have multiple colors. They have little tiny letters that can't be hot stamped, that can't be debossed, and can't be silk screened. For these people, we've got a process called heat transferring. With heat transferring, you send me your logo, and then we print out an acetate sheet of your logo that looks like this. I think there's 60 on the sheet. And we used heat transferring for this job because some of the print is so tiny. We then take this sheet, put it into a special cutter, and out comes a little label or a little decal. We take this decal and we tape it on to your fabric in a precise location, and then we apply that decal to the fabric via heat. And what you wind up with is an extremely clean, clear logo that has all of the elements included in your art, including small printing and including multiple colors if that's what you desire. It would seem like this would be the way to go for every pouch. However, it's expensive. First, these have to be ordered in lots of 1,000. So if you've got an order for 200 pouches, you're going to have to buy 1,000 of these little decals, and they're $1/4 each, so there's $250. Second, it costs $1 to put that decal onto the pouch. So versus hot stamping, which is $1/4, or silk screening, which is 50 cents, doing this is going to cost 75 cents more. Is it worth it? It depends on how much you value your logo and how important these little elements in your logo are to you. And for some people, those are very important issues. So there you've got your 4 types. You've got hot stamping, which we reviewed. We've got debossing, which we reviewed, silk screening, and heat transferring. And that ends that part of this discussion. The second part of this discussion has to do with logos. We recommend that your logos be big, bold, and brassy because fabric bags are not the ideal medium for branding. On a sheet of paper, you can do anything. You could print a map on a sheet of paper. You could print a logo with little tiny sparkly stars. Fabric doesn't work that way. Fabric likes big, simple, easy logos. And most logos that come to us are relatively easy to print. That's an easy logo to print. That's an easy logo to print. This is an easy logo to print. This is an easy logo to print. Big, bold, brassy. This is a difficult logo to print. So what happens is you're going to send me your logo in PDF format. I'm going to look at that logo, and if it's an adequate logo, if it's sized properly, we're going to send you a digital proof of that logo on your pouch sizes where we would put that logo. And you can then move the logo around, make it bigger or smaller, do whatever you want to do. There are going to be instances where we're going to tell you we cannot print that logo. And we're going to make recommendations to you on how you can modify that logo so that it's printable. Let me give you an example. Take a logo, Joe's Jewelers. Joe's Jewelers has a fancy crest with a lion's head and swords and little trinkets and little bells and little balls and all of these little parts of the crest. And underneath it, Joe's Jewelers, it says in little teensy tiny letters, fine jewelry and watches. And that's a logo that comes to me. And I look at it, it's impossible to print. We have this discussion because I will not knowingly try to print a logo that is unprintable. And I'll make recommendations to you on how you can change that logo so you get a great result. And generally, that's going to entail taking off the crest, taking off the fine jewelry and watches, and just leaving on Joe's Jewelers. And that's enough, because when I want to buy another pair of earrings from you, I can find you on the internet with just the words Joe's Jewelers. This is not a vehicle for a complex marketing message. It's a vehicle for a simple name that can be traced to your website on the internet. Thank you, Margie, for letting me know that FedEx is here. All right, that concludes this video for today. I hope it was informative. If you need additional information, or if you'd like to talk about this, I'm always here. My phone number is 800-828-2163, and my email address is bob@pouchesusa.com. I know this sounds complex, but once we get it down, once we get the specs right, ordering pouches is as easy as sending over an email and saying, Bob, we need 500 more. So with that, I bid you adieu. I bid you happy Halloween, and hopefully we'll see you with another video in a couple of weeks. Thanks.